Hello, hello. All right, let me just get the other thing up and running, and we're good to go. Oh, turn my lights. So here, yeah. Everybody had a lovely weekend. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 across. What? 7. 1, 2. Okay, so 2 up. Um, do I think I'm gonna have enough bread? I don't feel like I am. It's weird short. except that I don't turn this one off. Yeah. Doesn't feel long enough to cover full area I need to cover, so trim it now. So just do their end here. Done with that one. Oh, okay. What's the next color for this little thing? I think I'll do the white first. Or up, or up. Ooh, penguin. Just basically a white square, so not super exciting at the moment. Well, hello, Uncle Lisa. It is cross stitch, yeah. I've been doing it for a while. How are you? We are cross stitching a bookshelf featuring a bunch of different authors. I'm doing good, thank you. And so each little kind of shelf section features an author and some things to represent who they are, what their stories were about. And every time I start a new author block, we've been playing a game of trying to guess who the author is as the pieces slowly get stitched. working on the first accessory here. Feel free to offer any ideas if you see something that makes you think it's a certain author. I mostly follow patterns. I have designed patterns before, but like diamond painting, cross stitch is mostly all pixel art because this fabric is kind of gridded. You're making an X over each little set of threads. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, so you're making an X over each little set of threads. So there's only so much you can do in terms of the styling. So it's very pixelated. But I have designed a few of my own patterns here and there. But usually it's following a pre-made pattern. So like I have my pattern here on my tablet that's guiding me through which stitches to do. Offset one more time. Do you do any crafts yourself, Lisa? Oh. Oh, Automod, sometimes you are a little enthusiastic. Is it Notch? No, not Notch. I don't know who Notch is. It's kind of something like a Minecraft type painting. Anything that's done with cubes or squares. I mean, anything can be art if it's creative. I mean, one of the art things that I've been working on has been like a pre-made miniature building kit. And that is at least artistic, yeah. I can see the argument there. It's not completely an original thing. Same with this in a way. It's someone else's design that I'm making, so it's not like big art. I mean, any of those type of things, whether it be writing stories or painting or drawing or clay work or cross stitching, knitting, any of those crafts, it's all about the time. Very few of them are just an innate talent that you're either good or bad at. You take the time and effort to practice and work on it, you can do any of it. I'm a very strong believer in that it is all about practice and time and not so much skill. All right. Last color for this little accessory piece, and then we'll start the next one. I actually do it for both. Some things are hobby projects, like this one is a personal fun project, but I do also make stuff that I sell. And so it's a little bit of both. Well, you definitely don't need to be an artist with the big title to hang out with the makers and crafters. The dangerous part, though, is that we are a bunch of enablers. I hadn't crocheted for years, and then I start hanging out with all these makers and crafters on Twitch, and I have been picking up a lot of crochet again recently, including making my first doily. That's been an interesting process. Give me graffiti and a train, and I can try. Yeah, that would cause problems. Although I have seen some absolutely amazing graffiti artists. That's your thing. Get yourself a wall and keep practicing, and who knows? No, we're not cutting that thread yet because I didn't lock it in. So don't pick up the scissors. Alright, that's the first little accessory. Kind of hard to see a little bit, but that's fine. Where's the next one going to be? Here? Oh, that's totally valid. I didn't for the longest time, but I am a stay-at-home mom, and so most of the crafting and the things that I make to sell are mostly just to fund being able to make more things. But it is definitely my outlet. All right, we're gonna do something up top here now. we have to do 8 stitches. Down. First section of like a new piece is always the hardest because you're like you have to actually really be careful on your counting. Count mistake messes up everything that follows it. Whoop, and we've got a knot. That's 5. A clue. Female author. 1, 2, 1, 2, 5, 6. Realize that's female author, white, contemporary. Like I'm not even 100% sure if she's dead yet. Oh, now I gotta look that up. I don't know. Um. Okay, so definitely dead. Definitely dead. Uh, died in the 70s. And is what nationality? Very English. Very like British English. They'll save you from guessing Nordic people. In the pinned chat message, you can see all of the other authors, the list of the authors we've done before. Wilhelmina Shakespeare. Uh, Shakespeare is actually on the list of authors that I still haven't done yet, but have been released for this pattern. So Shakespeare is coming, but not here. So you have a little cheat sneak ahead for next time I move to a new author. You know that that is a possibility. Not Jane Goldman. This is actually another author I've actually never read any of their books. I just know of them. But it's a pretty big range of authors that are coming up in this pattern. The clues are also really hard on this one if you don't know who the author is. The first one down here, I know it's a little hard to see, but that's a typewriter. There's so many authors of this time frame you could guess. Not easy. Well, you've got very little information yet from what I've stitched so far. You've really just got a typewriter. Let me see if I can shift my thing and I'll show you the previous one that was done. Like this one here. Where's my camera? That's Edgar Allan Poe. The one kind of caught in my frame here is Stephen King. Got down here. That is Jane Austen, Mary Shelley, Tolkien. Lewis Carroll is here. I haven't quite finished him yet. Impossible. The chick that wrote Gone Girl. I'm not sure what that author's name is. I can give you a genre if you like. It is like detective genre. Detective's probably the best way I can describe it. Murder mystery detective type. Very famous. Yes. Agatha Christie. That is who is getting this shelf. You found her. All my bots are kicking in. Pin this thread off. See what color is next. Good job figuring it out. The pattern is made by a company called Cloud Factory. It is, let me get their link. Why did I end up with Yahoo as my search engine? What happened there? So that is the company that makes the pattern. It is what's called a stitch along. So every month for the year, they release a part of the pattern. I'm running a little behind right now, so I'm still working on a couple months back. But every month, we get like one or two of these little blocks to do. Let's not do that. Ooh, border stitches, eh? Yeah, all good. I still don't mind sharing. Oh, they make some amazing patterns. Here? It's actually my second stitch along I've done from them. I did a previously one that was the history of mankind. So it went through from caveman up to, I can't remember what the most modern thing was in it. But that one was cool too. Like a big timeline. Um, my music tends to vary quite a bit. I've lately been quite addicted to K-pop, and I have a soft spot for Broadway musicals and 90s pop because that's what I grew up on. I do sometimes listen to country or instrumental. Like today, I felt like some instrumental. Kind of incredibly random. I have listened to rap occasionally. I do listen to hip hop occasionally. I don't think I've ever done death metal, but I have listened to like some rock and hip hop. Some of like the classic rock stuff. Um, favorite song right now? Ooh, that's hard. Um, the one that I'm actually actively listening to and like is probably, oh crap, what's the name of it? Um, one of the new ones from the K-pop group with Seraphim. Come on over. That's what it is. It's probably like my current, what ends up on rotation a lot. All-time favorite would be Two Beds and a Coffee Machine by Savage Garden, which is not a happy song at all. He's in the middle of doing some games with a friend. Yeah. So I'm not going to interrupt him to ask right now. Sunday nights he does some online gaming with friends and I stream. His would probably be something like jazz. Will either be jazz or rap. Something either jazz or like something from like I think Kendrick Lamar maybe. Um, what is it with K-pop that I like? Uh, I really appreciate the performance value of it. So the synchronized dance, the catchy kind of pop thing. Like I listened to a ton of pop in the like 90s, early 2000s. Like that was the stuff I grew up on. And so like the current kind of pop world doesn't scratch the itch that like Spice Girls and Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and all that kind of had. Where K-pop seems to just kind of fit that bill for me of fun, happy, poppy music that has very little care so I can just dance to and enjoy. Good chunk of the time when I'm listening to music, it's as background while I'm uh break the law and ask how old I am. See, the problem is I never remember. I'm 38, 38, 39, somewhere like that. I would legitimately have to do math to 100% know the answer, but it's around there. Demand. Give me your number three best life advices you would know at your age at once. Hmm. Don't take everything too seriously. Life is too short to take everything too seriously. Uh, don't let others influence you into a wrong path, and don't define yourself by one thing. We met before? I'm guessing they're similar. Because those are the type of things that like change as you age and go through experiences. There's more than three. Don't take life too seriously. Don't let others influence you. And I already forget what I said was the third one. Uh oh, don't define yourself by one thing. There we go. That's three. I kind of elaborated the don't take yourself too seriously. That was tied into the don't take yourself too seriously. And yeah, I often don't remember the things I say right away. I'm talking off the cuff. If it had been something I sat down and thought about for a minute, I would remember it right away. And I did remember it. It just took me a second. You gotta remember, I'm also coming up with these life advices and thinking about them on the spot while also counting and concentrating. Okay, what's next? Do the little color. Not blaming it. I'm blaming it on my own distractions. Now that I'm thinking about it, I can think of like six other ones, but no, you only asked for three. And some of them are like hyper specific to like the stage of life I'm in. Uh, there some of them are super specific because I am the parent of a young toddler. So like no one cares what age you were potty trained at in 20 years from now. Or eating rocks is not a healthy thing to do. I have a young toddler right now, so my world is 90% revolved around that. So while it feels important in my world right now to get my son potty trained by a certain age, it doesn't matter. Again, I didn't say they were good. I just said that I was thinking of some. I gave you the good ones to start. Now my mind is just full of all kinds of random ones that don't necessarily apply. But I do have ADHD, so my mind spirals. There's another one, good one though. You are not defined by your alphabet soup. You are more than your alphabet soup. I kind of like that. You're more than your alphabet soup. What am I doing here? Um, let's start up here first. Uh, by alphabet soup, it's the whole like everyone talks about ADD, ADHD, the LGQIA, like all of the different things that we've made acronyms for that we use to define people. You as a person are so much more than those acronymed labels. And a kind of colloquial way to talk about all of those acronym labels is alphabet soup. Because they all get jumbled in little tiny letter shaped pasta mixed together. I don't know. Dangerous when you get me talking about random things. I am okay at cooking. I don't particularly love doing it. I prefer baking. But when I want to, I can cook a pretty mean pasta dish. I gotten really good at making bread. My favorite food would probably be like a seafood pasta. Like a pasta with like the seafood chowder mix and like an Alfredo sauce. Seafood's the worst. I live in a fairly maritime area, so there is a lot of seafood. What do you bake if left alone for the longest time needed? Honestly, just a good peanut butter cookie. It's supposed to look like a bow tie. I'm debating if it does. We've got ads starting here. Just a second. Do the photo stitch, please. Now I want peanut butter cookies. Guess I know what I'm doing tomorrow. Yeah. Oh. Hi, Masked Bandit, if you're not in ads. If you are, I'll say hi again after ads. Oh, you don't get ads? Okay. Well then, hello. It's slightly out of focus because I'm zoomed in really far. I haven't quite figured out how to get it more clear without just paying for the upgrade. Thing I've been neglecting to do. Are you gonna let me click it? There. I zoomed out a little bit. That didn't really make it much clearer, did it? Yeah, my stitches are fuzzy. Let's see if we can make. If I zoom out, it makes it a little clearer. Because I'm not paying for the like high def droid cam yet. It's only standard def, which just is a little fuzzy. Yeah, I zoomed out. That's a little better. I was zoomed in too far, I think. But how are you, Mess Bandit? And before ads, Lisa, you asked me what my favorite cookie is. My favorite cookie would be Probably just a good, solid, standard peanut butter cookie. If I wanted to go like extra fancy, I'd go with something like a salted toffee or something like that. But I'll always win with just a good peanut butter cookie. Oh no, that's uncomfortable. My opinions were puffy? I've never had my opinions be described as puffy. What does that mean? Well, hopefully the doctor will help figure out something to make your ear feel better. That's rough. I used to get a lot of ear infections, so I know that is not comfortable at all. Here? Yes, here. I forget, Bandit, are you Canada, US side, Europe? Well, in that case, I also hope that your doctor visit doesn't end up being too expensive. I hope you get relief, but you also don't have to pay too much. Ohio. I have not been to Wisconsin or Ohio. I don't think. I might have driven through Ohio. Can't quite remember. I've only been to the States a few times. You feeling ready for your move? Wrapping your head around the process? You know, those are not easy. Like Reese's peanut butter cups? Yes. I'm not American, but yes. Peanut butter and chocolate are superior. Oh yeah, don't give a 400-year-old violin to anybody else. I just really like peanut butter, so anything peanut butter just wins in my book. I'm not saying it's the most high quality thing, but if I'm craving a treat, you really dislike peanut butter. Well, that's fair. Not everyone loves it. But also a bit sketchy. The last two times we've moved, we got movers. We did the packing, but got them to move the stuff. And that helped so much from doing it all yourself. Highly appreciated that. Alright, so now we're just gonna fill the background in this square. It's good in theory. Everyone's got different tastes. I mean, there's also a question of what peanut butter you're talking about. If it's one of the more commercial ones packed full of sugar, or whether it's one of the ones that's a little more natural. Like the peanut butter that's used in like a Reese's peanut butter cup is a lot more questionable than like a good natural like homemade peanut butter. Yes, I do like sushi. At least most sushi. I'm a little hit and miss on some of them, but most of them I like them. I like. Actually, that's me and my husband went out for dinner last week to celebrate our wedding anniversary, and that is what we had for our anniversary. Was we went to a sushi place. Kind of one of our go tos for our wedding anniversary. One of those few things that like we'd never bother to make at home, so we'll go out to a restaurant to eat it. Like there's so many things that like we can make at home way closer to what we actually like. I'm a hopeless woman. Like I like sushi. I like a lot of things. But I mean, you said you don't like seafood. Whereas, like for me, we just had a friend come over this afternoon and bring us 5 pounds of freshly harvested clams, and we steamed them and had them for lunch. That's the kind of neighborhood I live in, is a big like fishing area. Uh, I haven't watched hockey in years. It would have to, if I had to label a team, it would be the Ottawa Senators, but that's just because I grew up in Ottawa. I am not really a sports person. The only sport that I actually follow closely is F1 racing. Do we? I mean, differences are sometimes the most interesting thing about people. You get to learn and discover interesting things, maybe discover something you didn't know you liked. At least one thing? I mean, I'm sure there's something. If only that we are both at least assumingly human. There's that. More than that? There has to be more common ground than that. um, I don't drive. Okay, this is just a game to me now. This is actually quite entertaining. Coffee or tea? There must be one thing. Hey, there you go. Coffee. I do tend to prefer coffee over tea. I have a handful of couple like specific teas I really like, but generally, if I was given the choice, I'd prefer coffee. Am I a cat person? Yes, technically. I that's a hard one. Because, like, yes, technically I'm a cat person, but I've been slowly becoming more and more of a dog person as I age. I used to be 100% cat person. I've kind of been waffling. I know, I ruined it. Sorry. Well, there was hesitation. Growing up, I had three cats and one dog that didn't really count because it was smaller than all the cats. And it wasn't technically mine, it was my mom's. Cats were mine. Now I currently have one cat. And she is a cranky old lady. Pretty, though. She's a tortoiseshell, so she's really pretty. She is starting to near the end of her life, though. She's 17 now, I think? If I remember right. So she's starting to get old. She's got a few health problems. So there's been talk of what we do when she does pass. Whether we get more cats or not, or what we do. Oops. Lost my string. Do you have any siblings? I don't know if this is. Nope, only child. At this point, if you give me your answer, I might almost start purposely saying the opposite. Because now it feels like a game. I haven't done that yet, but it does seem funny. Oh, good not. What about favorite color? Oh, Victor. Black and orange. Well, that's an interesting choice. Halloween. Um, don't want to start a new thread for that. I have to though. Uh, a heavily saturated purple, very similar to the purple tones in my needle minder. I don't know if you're gonna find something. I don't know why you're so determined, but I'm thinking it's not gonna happen. Would the person this is the oh this is gonna be I've got a good like philosophical question. Would the person you are now be the person you thought you would have been at 16 years old? So, would your 16-year-old self expect you to be who you are today? Mine would be 100% no. Never would have imagined I was who I am today. I was on a very different path at 16. You did a rollback. At 16, I was very much living downtown big city, arts festivals, creative writing, theater programs, where like I still like a lot of those things, but now I'm much more small town, country, doing my crafting, spending time growing things in my greenhouse. A lot slower, quieter than the like busy, bustling, non-stop city life. Particular music is haunting, which I guess would make sense for the author we're working on today. Have some haunting music. All right, just about finished this little portrait. What time are we at? Still have time. So, do we do the other portrait or do we work on the author herself? Which direction should we go? Thread off to the side because I don't have anywhere to pin it in right now. Mark the threads I've done so far. Uh, no. That is a hard no. I mean, I shouldn't say it's a hard no. I'd flip flop on that. I think objectively, if I were to look outside of emotions and feeling and nostalgia and all that, it might be one of the better ones. But with nostalgia and heart and feel and the movies that I grew up on and loved, it would either have to be Beauty and the Beast or Little Mermaid. Probably Little Mermaid. But if I were to remove all the nostalgia and feeling and emotion, I could probably see the argument for Lion King. Alright, so that's just a little hand. And for now, I'm going to just put that beige aside. We'll come back to it. What's this? White, a whole lot of white. White doesn't show up great on stream. I'm assuming Lion King is your number one. There needs to be qualifications to best video game ever. Like, is it the one that I have played the most, or the one that I think is actually the best made? Because there's the one that is best for me and the one I spend the most time on, versus what is actually considered an actual good game. Probably Stardew Valley. I think is the best in most qualifications. If you had to ask me just flat, what's the best? I also am obsessed with like Sid Meier's Civilization and have played a stupid amount of The Sims. Absolutely stupid amount. But I'm very much a simulation management type game player. So I've done a lot of Stardew, RimWorld. Not too long ago, I got heavily addicted to Dwarf Fortress. Back in the day, I played tons of Pokemon. Which Sims games were my favorite? In terms of like the actual Sims category? Just one, two, three, or four? Um, I played mostly either two or four. Played some three. Like I having played and having four now, you couldn't convince me to go back to two. But I think two is one of the ones I like spent formative time on. Three just came out at a time when I was very busy with other things, so I didn't play it as much. I think we have just literally found our pure opposites. My bad, my little light over top of my cross stitch here is starting to die. Gonna need to switch out the batteries here in a moment. I'll just finish this red here first. Getting hard to see. My thread off the needle. It is amusing how many things we are in direct opposition. It's actually kind of impressive. That's like a feat in and of itself to be in opposition of that many things. You like really old music. Is Roy Hamilton? I don't recognize the name Roy Hamilton. There are some old music I really like, depending like how old are you talking? Because like I have just randomly listened to Bach and Mozart. Like right now we're listening to Tchaikovsky. So some old music. uh what that? Color? Oh right, I was gonna change the batteries on my light. Change the batteries on my light. But Roy Hamilton. What is Roy Hamilton? Uh, yeah, I can probably find something, assuming it's on Spotify. All right, who are you, Roy Hamilton? Kind of the like swinger jazz stage. I don't specifically know this artist, but I have no problems with this music at all. I mean, my this is a good one. One of my favorite albums. One of my favorite albums growing up was the soundtrack to Stand By Me. I had a weird soft spot for that album because my mom had it as like a record, and so it was one of the few records that I would play out of her record collection as a kid. And then we got it on cassette, and so it became like our road tripping song for our album. So yeah, I have a really soft spot for that. Yeah, I definitely. I mean, I wouldn't argue that it's good, but I do like it. My taste isn't always stellar, but I'm not afraid to say I like something that is shitty because I just like it. Lollipop. Okay, okay, we're just gonna do the soundtrack to Stand By Me now. So, I have no problem with Roy Hampton. It sounds perfectly enjoyable. I'm sure uh, I would enjoy it. Why can't I play a couple of the songs? Are you are you telling me those are blocked for lyrics? Well, there's four songs, which are some of the better songs that for some reason don't want to play, but good enough. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here? Yeah. So on surface level, I do like Roy Hamilton. I mean, censorship can be quite annoying. It has a time and a place, but most of the time it should be more up to individual people to determine that, not a giant corporation who can pay money to make things disappear out of school libraries or whatever. What? No. I believe the government shouldn't be dictating what can be taught and stuff like that. But I believe every person, regardless of many things, is equal. Something's not ending up right here. 2, 3 here. Okay, no, it's heading up. All right. I'd more say that people need to understand. Yeah, the ads are annoying, but they're less annoying than me throwing money at Spotify. I am hard pressed to get quite hard opinions on things out of. Not very common you'll actually get uh, me to admit I thoroughly hate something. Like, I remember the age where, like, you had to buy all of your albums and you couldn't just listen to endless music. It was either radio with ads or you went out and actually bought your albums instead of just having endless amounts of music available to me at my fingertips. So sometimes ads feel like a small price to pay. Be able to look up absolutely any music I want at the drop of a hat. No, and that actually makes me quite uncomfortable, so we are just going to delete that. Because I actually don't appreciate that and would not like to have that on my record. Yes, well, I can agree that ads are annoying, but they do have a place in the world. So, eh, they're inconvenient. Like I said, it's hard to get me to admit that I actually hate something. I'm too good at playing devil's advocate. Mhm. Best thing? Is there any caveats to like physical object, intangible? Like, best thing in the world if all intangibles and whatever are included would be empathy. Yeah, either empathy or life. If I'd have to pick something like physical, like an actual object, I would say thread. Okay, why for which one? For my thread answer or for like my empathy answer? For thread, because thread, to a certain extent, is the basis for many things. You are unlikely to easily going to be able to obtain food without thread. You need thread for clothing, you need thread for housing. Thread is kind of the basis for most of your life and comforts. And I'm using, well, thread or string. Like I'm thinking thread as in long piece of textile. Thread is used in one way, shape, or form to make bows and arrows. To okay, I'm back. My internet just crapped out for a second. Think getting dropped frames, kind of getting some wonky stuff happening. I think we're coming back. So my camera up here die, and then reload, and then OBS crashed and reloaded. I think we're okay. All right. So the last thing that was said was berries or mushrooms. You could theoretically collect berries and mushrooms on their own, but without thread of some kind, you're likely only carrying what you can fit in your hands, which is not a ton. But if you were to make a basket or make a bag or something like that to carry them, you need thread. So my argument for the best thing in the world is thread. And that was a very practical answer, as far as I'm concerned. And maybe a little biased because I am someone who jokes that I am trying to learn every single craft that involves thread. I'm well on my way. Alright, because my stream reset itself, we do have ads popping up here in about 30 seconds or so. How did this life skill, like the life skill of like fibercrafts? It taught me to be resourceful and to slow down. This is not a quick process. You just have to take time and enjoy the process. I'm not gonna get a finished work tomorrow. It takes a minute. Okay, so what did we get done? We're here. I wanted to look up what were in ads. Sure. Alright. We still got a little bit of time. Let's work on getting this dress done. What? What's the exclamation mark about? Alright, ads are all done. No more ads. Oh, don't tangle. Please don't tangle, Mr. String. Thank you. Yes? You're still here? I didn't think you were going anywhere. I don't think you're gonna go anywhere until you figure out exactly what it is that we share in common. Although the pot is caught on to the disdain. So in about 15 minutes or so, I'm probably going to be calling it an evening. See how much we can get done in that time frame. And get her dressed on at least. Honestly, I'm getting tired. Whenever I get tired, I get quiet. Because it is 9:30 now. I've been up since 5, chasing the toddler around. What was... Hmm. Oh, wait. Did you ever work fast food? No? Well, there we go. There's something coming. I also never worked fast food. My early jobs were a lot of childcare, and then I did a lot of retail. Okay, so that row, that row. What is your stance on stage musicals? Haven't seen one you like so far? Fair. Fair. Definitely not for everyone. There's too many to count of ones that I like, including ones they keep messing with when they make them into movies. I would rather have more pro shots and less actual movies. I've never owned one. I have never owned a car myself. I don't drive. Never. Like our family has a car, but I don't drive it. Not truly mine. Right. There's that. Uh, let's do the face. Let's pink back up. Hmm. Here. Hmm. Okay, we're getting repetitive here, music. Unacceptable. We've played through the whole album that is willing to play me right now. Let's find something else for the last few minutes. Uh. On Spotify, you can wake up. just do the piano covers. Do this one. That's better. Hmm. Do you like board games? Yeah, I wouldn't expect us to have the same favorite. There are too many. Same reason why like I wouldn't expect favorite movie to be the same. Like when you have get too specific on like actual favorites, it can get really hard to find a match because there's such a variety of available things. But you might be able to match up on like genre or style. Generic opinions are easier to match than um specifics. RPG style board games? I think like tabletop uh role playing like D&D, that type of game. No. Nope, I would highly disagree with that one actually. Actually probably quite low on the list for me. For me, Risk is the type of game where like a poor decision can be made early on that can mean from near the start of the game you are losing, know you're losing, and so you just have to sit there for the entire game, which can get quite long, knowing you've lost and therefore not having fun anymore. Yeah, yeah. Which I think makes it a poorly designed game. I mean, that is life, but you don't necessarily always want life reflected in your entertainment board game. Because that makes it not fun, and therefore you don't want to play it. Yes. Or at least. Or if our forms of entertainment too closely matched what life can be like, I think we'd all have a lot more depression issues than we already have. You need some escapism, at least a little bit. Now I'm curious. I know we're not going to match on this, but I am curious. Favorite movie? Do you have one? And how often does that change? Um, yeah, there. Alright, that's as far as I can get within this particular strand of floss. That didn't lock. Alright. So we're getting to the end of stream here. I'm not going to bother starting another spool of, or another thing of thread. Just make sure I have marked what I've stitched. Alright, so we made good progress here on this Agatha Christie. We've got 2 of the elements done. There, so we've just got to finish up her face and her legs. There's one more portrait at the top here. And then it looks like it might be like a little tree or something right here. And then we're done her. So not bad. I'd say we're probably about half done her portrait. I'd say my favorite movie right now is probably still Her. It was Scarlett Johansson. Oh, and what the heck's his name? Can't remember his name, but he falls in love with an AI computer, and it's the whole manipulation of him falling in love with her. So let's see who's online we can go see today for a raid. Okay, my favorite movies tend to be psychological type. Yeah, I think we're gonna go say hi to Rafteria. Sure, I spell her name right. Yeah, it is a good movie. It is a really mind melter. The other one I really liked was The Lobster. But anyway, I do have to be heading off to bed. I would love it if you would join me on the raid to go see Miss Crafty Rhea. And hopefully I will see you guys again later. My next stream will be tomorrow evening. So tomorrow evening, same time. Have a wonderful night. Be nice to Crafty Rhea.